Week 6 is in the books. Hello and welcome, Week 7 of the NFL season. Hello and welcome to all of you out there, whether you're watching or listening, YouTube, Spotify, or you're just following in on some clips on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you're watching or listening. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome into the Swank Tank. Welcome in to episode 16. And most of all, most importantly, welcome in to Week 7. I am your host, Ryan Swankowski, and we have a fantastic show for you tonight. Week 6 was amazing as well. We got two games to recap, both the Monday Nighters. We got Falcons defeating the Bills. We got the Bears defeating the Commanders. We're going to go into those games in one sec at the top of the show. After that, a full Week 7 preview and predictions. We're going through every single game, touching on some big points. I'm going to give you my winner for every single Week 7 NFL game. At the end of that, I'll give you Swank's Banks. If you're new to the show, Swank's Banks is my 6 favorite bets of every NFL week. We are, I believe, 20-16 on the season, so above 500. In this economy, we take that. We take that 10 out of 10 times. And we started 0-6. Now we're sitting at 21-15. All I needed was one little preseason week. I asked for a preseason week 1. I apparently got it. Because since then, we've been feeling good. I will say, though, this Week 7 is a good slate. It's another tough betting slate. And it might continue to get tougher given this year's NFL competition. It's been consistent across the league. The worst team and the best team, there's not that much discrepancy there. What a season we've had so far. Probably the most competitive season over the past 2 decades. It feels that way. Very balanced, very competitive. Welcome into the show. I'm so happy you're here. Appreciate you being here more than you even know. Without further ado, let's get straight into our Monday Night Football Week 6 recaps. Then we'll transition straight into our Week 7 predictions and picks. Welcome in to episode 16. All right, our Monday night episode, as you probably know if you're watching or listening, we don't cover the Monday Night Football games because they're occurring as I'm recording. So welcome to the Thursday morning show, October 16th. And we got 2 great Monday Night Football games to break down. Just because they happened 3 nights ago doesn't mean we're going to leave them in the dust. Every single game is important. Even the Panthers-Jets game this week is important. The Dolphins-Browns game this week is important. You never know. You never know. Every game has its significance because in the NFL, a win is a win. This is not college football, even though we love college football. Not college football where, you can go 12-0 and miss the playoffs. In the NFL, you're in or you're out via wins and losses. That's it. That's it. Each game in the NFL matters. With that being said, Falcons, first game on Monday Night Football this past week, Week 6. Falcons defeat the Bills 24-14. I called it. I called this one, ladies and gentlemen. I said Falcons would defeat the Bills. For what main reason? The Bills' bread and butter is running the football. This game, James Cook had a better game than he did against New England, but what did he do? Let's check notes. James Cook, 87 yards in this game, no touchdowns. The Falcons did their job. The Falcons defense did their job. They held Josh Allen and company to 14 points. They kept James Cook out of the end zone. But hey, what am I doing? On this show, the Swank Tank, we start with the winners, always. With the winning quarterback especially. Michael Penix, 250 yards and 1 touchdown. What's the most important part from that stat line? 0 interceptions. Josh Allen on the flip side, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. Okay, 2 picks. Joshy, what are we doing? Whoa, fall from the heavens the past 2 games for Josh Allen. A little wake-up call. Is he human? He's been tackled and hit harder now these past 2 weeks, held out of the end zone a little bit more, throwing some more interceptions. Is Josh Allen human? It appears that way for the time being. Bijan, someone who is unhuman, 238 total yards and 1 touchdown. Freak of nature, hook 'em horns. Freak of nature. I had the great chance of meeting Bijan when I was a student at UT, and a phenomenal football player, an even better human being. Had the chance several times to meet him. Actually have a photo with him. He's awesome. He is an awesome player. and like I said, an even better human. So I love to see Bijan Eaton. He's a freak of nature, and he is the Falcons' offense. He makes them go around. And yeah, they got talented pieces over there. Speaking of talented pieces, Drake London, 158 yards and 1 touchdown in this game, and the Falcons utilized their strengths and didn't turn the ball over. What does that mean? That means when the Falcons do that, 2 things. 1, don't turn the ball over. 2, utilize their strengths consistently, as any NFL team should be doing. They're a very hard team to beat. Other NFL teams can get away with, a few turnovers sometimes. The Chiefs could get away with it sometimes. The Eagles last year could turn the ball over 3 times and still win. This year's a lot more balanced, a lot more competitive. But for the Falcons specifically, when they don't turn the ball over, when they play clean, they typically win. What did they do in this game? No turnovers. They win the game. Again, they held James Cook to 87 yards. The Bills have 5 turnovers in their past 2 games. What has that resulted in? 2 losses. We've been saying it since week 1. It's a tale as old as time. In the NFL, it will always remain true. You win the turnover battle, you usually win the football game. For the Bills, 0-2, 5 turnovers in the past 2 games. And their vulnerabilities have really shown themselves. There's two big ones. 1, not being able to fully pick up blitzes / increased pressures. They were blitzed, I believe, over 70% of the snaps in the second half. I mean, they were sending everything at Josh Allen. All of it. The whole works. It was 8 guys, 9 guys. I mean, they were sending the entire team to just stop Josh Allen in any way possible. And they very much succeeded. That's number 1 of their vulnerabilities. Number 2, lackluster production when facing a strong rushing defense. The past 2 games, the Falcons and Patriots both have top 10 rushing defenses. Look what's happened. They have struggled when that is, as I keep saying, their bread and butter. It's their go-to. Always. That is their strength of their team. Yes, Josh Allen is a freak, but one of Josh Allen's biggest strengths himself, being able to rush the football. Along with James Cook, who is still having a top 5 fantasy season and is still a top 5 back currently in the NFL. They stopped the run. The Falcons stopped the run. They didn't turn the ball over. They utilized their big-time players. If they do that every game, they will not lose many more games. They may not lose another game. Are they going to do that every single game? No. Not successfully, but they did it here, and that's what matters. Bills had Matt Milano out. Hairston, their first-round pick, still hasn't played. Few key injuries on defense for them have shown to be a little hindrance, but in all honesty, you give up 24, it's not great. It's not the end of the world. Bills offense only putting up 14 for an offense that should be averaging minimum 23, 24 a game. Bills got some questions. Bills have some questions. And I said before the season, they didn't reload enough. And through 4 weeks, I was like, man, am I an idiot? Now over the past 2 weeks, I'm looking a little bit smarter. But long season to go. Bills are still a very talented team. Great win for Atlanta. Atlanta, I believe, now moves to 3-2. The Bills fall to 4-2. Moving straight along here to the other Monday Night Football game. A little camera shake there. Whoa. Bears defeat the Commanders 25-24. I don't know if you remember the Bears' last game. They defeated the Raiders 25-24. First time that a team has won by 1 point and put up the exact same score, I believe, in almost 100 years. I mean, that's a very niche stat, let's be real. But having the same exact score and winning with it, back-to-back weeks for the Bears. They play the Raiders, then bye week, then this. 25-24, very interesting. You know what else is interesting? Caleb Williams, 252 yards and 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Has he been playing clean or what? The year 1 to year 2 transformation of Caleb Williams, I mean, it's not a set-in-stone product, right? He's continuing to grow, and there will be, some slight drawbacks or slight errors still in his game. He's cleaned up a lot of those. It's felt like the past few weeks. Really, this overall season, comparative to last season. Jane Daniels, 211 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 total turnovers in this game. DeAndre Swift, 175 total yards and 1 touchdown, and he led the team in receiving. He was the Swiss Army knife for Ben Johnson this game. In each week, it feels like it's almost somebody different. It's DJ Moore hasn't been fully involved. He's been there when needed, but he's kind of taking a back seat to some of these younger guys. Swift's not that young, but he's younger. Was the big piece here. Other weeks it's been Roma Dunze. Other weeks it's been other key. They need to get Loveland involved, by the way. Loveland has been a non-factor. And for a first-round pick to be this much of a non-factor and be fully healthy and involved in the offense, he needs to get a little bit more involved here. Let's get him going. But Burden, has been very much involved in that offense already out the gate. Luther Burden from Mizzou. They got some really good pieces over there. And Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams are very much know how to utilize them, especially through 6 weeks. Commanders, turnovers on first 2 drives of the game and a missed field goal before halftime. Hard to win when you've got 2 first-half turnovers and a missed field goal. No bueno. What it really comes down to is Daniels' late fumble up 2 points. This game, there's really not much else to break down. Daniels, besides that fumble, played really well. 3 tutties, 211. Still didn't have Terry McLaurin. He will be back this week, supposedly so. Scary Terry, the return. The Commanders played a very inconsistent football game. Out the gate, 2 turnovers, and a missed field goal in the first half. Then they put together a lot of scoring drives. Then Daniels, has that turnover when absolutely needed the least. And that was the game. He doesn't turn the ball over there. The game probably ends with the Commanders win. Jake Moody, 4 of 5 field goals for the Bears there in that kind of sloppy, rainish weather. He was cut, obviously, from the 49ers. Everybody knows who Jake Moody is because he was a high draft pick for a kicker. Did not pan out in San Fran. Goes to the Bears. Santos is out. Oh, my God, we got to kick 5 field goals. He hits 4 of 5. He hits the game winner. And the Chicago Bears win the football game. They win 25-24. There's really not much else to dive into there besides the fact that Jane Daniels, that fumble that late in the game is unacceptable. That is the key play maybe of the Bears season so far. That and the blocked field goal against the Raiders, of course. But Bears get a much-needed win. Falcons get a much-needed win. That's all she wrote. And that's all she wrote for our Monday Night Football Week 6 review. Enough of Week 6. It's now in the rearview mirror. We're strictly here to focus now on Week 7. I got every game predicted, every game written out in front of me. Let's dive straight into who I think is going to win every game of Week 7. Real quickly, got to go over the season record at this point, as we always do on these Thursday morning episodes. Season record moves to 60-33. We went 11-4 in Week 6. We are 60-33 on straight up winners on the season. It continues to just get better. We are almost at 2/3 correct. In this season, I will take that any single day. Any and every day of the week. 60-33. Yeah. We like that here at the Swak Tank. We like that. Just for that, you should make sure you're subscribed or following on YouTube or on Spotify. Following on Spotify, subscribed on YouTube, following on all the socials at the Swank Tank. Make sure you just go and do that. Because obviously, the straight-up winners have been winning. That's all I'll say. All right, first game of Week 7. Let's get straight into it. The Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. Steelers are standing at 4-1 at the top of the AFC North. Bengals, 2-4, sitting at second. Oh, my God, in the AFC North. The 2-4 Bengals are second in the AFC North. That just honestly kind of blew my mind. Steelers are -5.5 in this game on the road. The Unction. This is what this game is called. The Unction. I had some people, saw some people on Twitter having an issue with people calling this an Unk game, trying to make it, let's just say, political. Can we stop that? We all just know Unk is short for uncle, and we have Joe Flacco in this game playing against Aaron Rodgers. It's an unction. I'm going to call it that because that's just what it is. Everyone is saying, so what I've been seeing around this game is that it's a perfect upset spot, right? Steelers coming off the big win, then the bye, then another solid win, a win against the Browns. The Bengals have not been able to put anything together since the Joe Burrow injury and beating the Jags. They've looked horrendous. They go and trade for Flacco. He played fine last week. Everybody's saying, oh, the Steelers are at the top of the world, top of the pyramid. The Bengals have been terrible for 4 straight weeks. They're at their home. It's prime time. They got Flacco. It's Thursday Night Football. Kumbaya. I don't see it. I will tell you, I don't see it. This one feels like a gambler's fallacy. Except, I guess I can't say that here because the Steelers are -5.5. But from everybody else's prediction, it feels like, let me rephrase. It feels like they're going more off of just because the Steelers are on top of the world, Bengals are on the low, upset-wise, not based off of like performance, production, matchup-wise. They're going more based off feel, which is fine. This is because I'll have some games on this slate. I'll go just based off feel. This is not one of those games, though, for me. I'm going to keep this one real. This is Steelers. This is a Steelers win. I don't know if they cover, but I'll take a Steelers win here. And I'll tell you why. Because Steelers are 14-6 over the past 10 years against the Cincinnati Bengals in the regular season. 14-6 against the Bengals. Mike Tomlin knows what he's doing against Cincinnati. He's had their number his whole career, it seems like. I'll take 14-6 all day long from the Pittsburgh Steelers for an in-division opponent who's had some good years with Dalton and with obviously Burrow playing against him a few times when healthy. This is the NFL, so anything can happen, right? That record means Tomlin's had success, but that doesn't mean he'll have it this week. To me, I think he will have it this week. Because what angle can you give me to where you sell me on the Bengals in this game? It's not going to be at quarterback. It's not going to be in the run game. No way it's going to be in the run game. It will be absolutely nothing on defense. The only thing you can sell me on is, Jamar Chase is the best player on the field. Okay. How is he going to get the ball? Can he win this game just by himself? Maybe last year. I don't think so this year. Nothing can convince me to take the Bengals here because they don't have an angle. That is really my analysis. Steelers also had 6 sacks last week. They're going to make the Bengals completely one-dimensional. Oh, wait, they already are because they can't run the football. They have the least rushing yards in the NFL by a mile. The Steelers provide a lot of pressure, led by TJ Watt. They had 6 sacks last week against the Browns. What can they do against this lackluster Bengals offense that can't run? Make them completely one-dimensional. I like the Steelers a lot here on Thursday Night Football. I'm avoiding the smoke. I'm avoiding the noise. The Steelers are a better football team. I expect them to win, and I think their defensive line and that pass rush makes Joe Flacco and that offense even more one-dimensional than they already are because the Bengals, cannot run the football. That's my take. Give me the Steelers. Re-roll forward. Another abroad game. London. The 4-2 Rams. This is a good one. But can we stop with these abroad games? Please, can we just have 1 week off of them? The 4-2 Rams traveling to London. You take on the, quote, home team, 4-2 Jacksonville Jaguars. The Rams are -3.5 here in this game. Something to note. Another big thing to note. Puka Nacua is, quote, day-to-day. Huge factor in this game. I think he's going to sit in this one. If he suits up, he's not going to be full-time going at it. He may play, 50% of the snaps. If I'm the Rams, I play it smart. The Rams are a playoff team. He is your best player. He is the best receiver in the league this season. If I'm the Rams, I play it smart. I play it safe. I don't play Puka this week. But we'll see. He may be able to give it a go. We'll see. Jaguars last week gave up 7 sacks. 7 sacks to Seattle last weekend. And the Rams, wouldn't you know it, are top 5 in sacks this year. Very interesting. That is kind of the tell of the tale. Jaguars' offensive line getting destroyed last weekend, and the Rams' defensive line being top 5 in sacks and pressure. One's got to give, one's got to go. That's kind of like the big key here. Rams offense last week seemed to struggle a bit against a terrible Ravens team. I think they were more playing with their food, kind of taking it a little easy almost. But this game to me could really go either way. I really think it could. But I'm going to take my first upset of the weekend. I'm going to take the Jags to get it done here. Again, they're +3.5. And I got them with the upset over the Rams to bounce back from last week. So the big thing here is I personally don't think Puka plays. Even if he plays, I'm still going to take the Jags because the Jags have played several games in London. It is basically, quote, like a home game to them. If anybody's going to be a home team in London, it is considered the Jags. They've looked very strong all season. Last week, the 7 sacks was a surprise. I've said all year long, their biggest downfall has been offensive inconsistency. ETN one week plays great. Trevor plays somewhat poor. Flip it. Trevor plays really solid. Then there's no run attack. They're still looking to put that all together. And against this Rams defensive front and Rams defense as a whole, that's going to be hard to do. And another thing to note, Rams defense, they've only given up 2 rushing touchdowns this season. What does that mean? Trevor Lawrence is going to have to play real clean. Really, really clean. If he does not have a turnover, the Jaguars are going to win this football game, in my mind. Trevor, play clean, brother. Play clean. I'm going to take the Jags here for the first upset of the weekend on this Week 7 episode. We move forward. Appreciate you tuning in as always. We move forward. The 1-5 Saints are traveling to take on the 3-2 Chicago Bears coming off that big win against the Commanders. And here's what we're going to do with this game. We're going to keep this game really simple and take the Saints to lose. Did I get you? I might have just baited you. Did I get you? I might have. Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson so far this season through 6 weeks have been showing large amounts of trust and chemistry this season. And coming off a big Commanders win against the Commanders, I'm sticking with Chicago here at home in Chicago. This line, I believe, is only 4.5. Obviously, Vegas knows something I maybe fully don't, but I find that somewhat hard to believe. Given I have this show, maybe I'm just bad at what I do. That's definitely a possibility. The Bears are going to win this football game. I think people are worried about the Bears reverting back to last season or the year before or the year before or the year before. You get it. It goes on for like 10 more times where they have a win, almost like a season-defining win, then they just freaking blow it in any which way they can. That would be very much Bears of the past. This Bears team, while they're not even close to perfect, is just different in terms of leadership. Caleb Williams in year 2. Ben Johnson in year 1, I get it. But he is a full-on leader himself. And you can see that in his communication and his passion and his love with his players and for this team. That's what makes this team different. And obviously they are very talented offensively. That's what makes this team different than years past. That's why I think this result, this game, is different than potentially years past where it's a letdown spot. So I'm going to take Chicago here. Chicago defense has been coming up with some big plays. I expect another big play or two this game, given that they're playing the Saints, who honestly have not been that turnover prone. Rattlers actually protected the ball pretty solidly this year. I expect a big Bears defensive play. I expect Caleb to play pretty well. The Saints' run defense has been solid this season. So as long as Caleb plays clean, I got the Bears here without really a sweat. It's gonna be on Williams though, because again, that Saints' run defense has been pretty solid this year, and people don't really know that about the New Orleans Saints. All they know is that they're 1-5. The Saints can hang. They can. I get that. If Caleb plays clean, I'm not sweating this. Give me the Bears to win in their own building. I got Chicago. The vibes are high, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I always love this Thursday morning episode because you're looking forward to a new week. That means new fantasy games, new DFS lineups, which you guys know I love if you've listened to this show. Fantasy, DFS, new bets to be placed, just new games to watch. I mean, it's just the best. It is the best. The NFL is the best. That is why we're here. That is why you're listening. Appreciate you listening, as always. The 1-5 Miami Dolphins traveling. You take on the 1-5 Cleveland Browns. Guys, ladies, gentlemen, Tua apologized. Did you hear? Tua apologized. Everything's okay now. It's okay. Now is the time the Dolphins go on a somewhat rare and crazy playoff run because Tua apologized. Everything's good now. It's all over. Everything's in the rear view mirror. It's in the past now. Dolphins are on the come. I'm completely sarcastic. I'm completely sarcastic. Tua, if you didn't hear, did apologize at the podium today, saying he let his emotions get the best of him right after the loss. The Miami Dolphins are the most... Let me ask you, what word would you fill in there? The Miami Dolphins are the most blank team in the NFL. Would you say interesting? Would you say the most... not ugly? Let me know what you would put right there. What word? The Miami Dolphins in 2025 are the most blank in the NFL. Inconsistent? Diva-ish? There's a lot of different adjectives that can go in there. But this is not some kumbaya Dolphins game here. No chance. No chance. I'm just going to come out and say it flat out. I got the Browns here. In Cleveland, this is not one of those situations where, a big incident happens, the player comes out and apologizes, and then they rally as a team the next week, sing kumbaya, and come out and win. It is the exact opposite of that this week. And I think everybody kind of feels that. I personally want to see the Dolphins get punched in the mouth. Not some 3-point loss, not some they had the lead and blew it. I want to see them get punched in the mouth. Because quite honestly, I'm annoyed with them. I had them before the season being one of the worst teams in the NFL. So that's great. They're proving me correct. I guess in that fact, I'm not annoyed with them. Everything else about this team is pissing me off to see in the media. I'm tired of seeing Tua talk. Flat out. I'm tired of seeing the little McDaniels running around in his little joggers being all sad and mopey. One, I think he deserves better. He's a fantastic coach. Do not get me wrong. But I'm just tired of seeing them in the media. This is a 1-5 Dolphins team that is making the media purely because they suck and because they can't be a full team. They can't come together. They're having player meetings, and then people are calling each other out about not going to those player meetings and then saying they're sorry and then still losing. It's a disaster. Disaster down in Miami. Now they travel to play Cleveland, and I think Cleveland handles them here. At least 7 points would be a solid prediction for me. I'm taking the Browns to win this game just because, damn it, they haven't turned on each other. That is literally why I'm taking the Browns to win this game, and because it's in Cleveland. Plus, maybe the biggest point, great spot for that rookie running back over there, Quinshon Judkins. Ever heard of him from Ohio State? Having a really strong rookie campaign. Ever heard of that guy? Dolphins defense. Do you know how many rush yards the Dolphins have given up this year? I'll give you a hint. They've only played 6 games and it's over 1,000. That's almost 100 more than the closest team, which is, by the way, the Bills, giving up the second most. The Dolphins have given up over 1,000 rushing yards this year, the worst in the NFL. Quinshon Judkins, welcome to my DFS team. That's one of my DFS locks this week in FanDuel. I'm taking the Browns to win this game for that main reason and because they haven't turned on each other like the Miami Dolphins have. I'm going to take Cleveland to get this win. Judkins is my DFS lock. Give me the Browns. We move on. And oh, what a game we move on to. The 4-2, the red-hot New England Patriots traveling to take on the 1-5 Tennessee Titans. Oh, man, the revenge game. The revenge game. Mike Vrabel, welcome home. Brian Callahan got the boot. Sayonara, Brian. Tough to see you go. Sorry, man. You replaced me? What am I going to come do? I'm going to come kick your, I guess, not team anymore, old team's ass in Tennessee. Let me slow down for a sec. Let me ask you, can Mike McCoy get this Titans team to rally here at all? That's my question to you. Do the Titans come out flat as hell? They very much could. Could they come out almost rallying around the firing? They could. We've seen it before. They could. They definitely could. This is the definition of a trap game with Callahan fired, Vrabel back in Tennessee, playoff history in the past. This is a exact trap game. It's what it feels like. The situation itself is played out to be a full-on trap. Block out the noise, put on the earmuffs. It's starting to get a little cold outside. Just pop them on and take New England to win the game. I'm not going to touch the points, even though the points are so unbelievably attractive. That New England minus 6.5 is looking at me like a Green Goblin mask. Seriously. That's what it's looking at. It's looking like a freaking Green Goblin mask to me. Vrabel back in Tennessee. Some sites it's 6.5. Some I believe it's 7 or 7.5. I want to take it so bad, but I'm gonna refrain. I'll give you a hint. It's not in Swank's banks. I'm gonna refrain. But I am taking New England money line. I mean, it's simple. Cam Ward is in for a game here. And by that, I mean he's going to have to throw the ball over 40 freaking times in this football game. Why is that, you ask? The Patriots' rushing defense is top 3 in the NFL. What can the Titans also not do? Run the football. They can't do anything. But most importantly, they can't run the ball. You put an offense that can't run the football against a defensive line that stops the run unbelievably, usually results in a squashing, a smacking, a splattering, if you will. Cam Ward's going to have to throw the ball 40 times. And is that a good recipe for success? Making your rookie quarterback in his 7th ever game throwing to Calvin Ridley, Eric Ayominer, and Tyler Lockett in his 7th career NFL game? Making him throw the ball 40 plus times? He's very talented, don't get me wrong. But no, not a good recipe for success. I'll just tell you that right now. Expect Cam Ward to throw the ball a lot. Expect the Patriots to come out firing. Vrabel's going to be red hot. Give me New England. We all have New England. Take New England. If you're getting the points, I don't blame you. Personally, though, this is the big vendetta narrative game, so I'm going to fade the points. I'm just going to take the win. I'm going to take New England. I'm going to take the win. Another game that feels almost written in stone already to me. Raiders 2-4 at Chiefs 3-3. Kansas City is minus 12.5. One of the biggest lines of the NFL season. And we have finally made it to the game, in my opinion, where Geno Smith's implosion is most evident. What did you just say, Swank? I said, we have finally made it to the football game. There's a very high chance here that Geno Smith's implosion is most evident. What does that even mean? What are you talking about? Geno's had a very poor year overall, especially in the interceptions department. Everybody knows it. In this game, Brock Bowers is probably not going to play. He did not practice Wednesday. Jacoby Myers also did not practice Wednesday. He could be in trade conversations. Those are his 2 biggest pieces. Chiefs rushing defense played really well last week against Detroit. They've looked strong for the past few weeks now. They're going to have a hard time running the football with Genti. And if that's the case, they're going to have to make Geno throw the football. And where is he going to throw it to? Outside of Trey Tucker. I think this is a Geno implosion game. This is the game people can look back on and say, that was the one where the biggest question mark was put on Geno Smith's future, not only as a Raider, but potentially in the NFL. Mainly as a Raider, though. Mainly as a Raider. I think he plays very poorly in this game. Granted, his O-line's terrible, his system's not great, and he's going to be probably missing both Myers and Bowers. I don't want to put all of the blame on him for the reasons I just listed. That being said, if you're getting paid over $40 million, you got to be playing at a higher level than Geno Smith is playing. I think this is the game. The implosion happens. It very much could here. Very, very much could. So that Kansas City defense gave up 17 to the Lions. Again, held Gibbs to very few rushing yards on the ground. This could be pretty ugly. 12.5 is a lot, so I'm going to stay away from it. But it's the Chiefs here. There's really not much else to touch on. And there's also a big chance for the Chiefs to get that run game going because the Raiders defensive front has been pretty lackluster this year. So give me the Chiefs, plain and simple. And it could get ugly, and I think it's going to be ugly for Geno Smith especially. Give me the Chiefs. Get the big win. If you are not already, please go and follow the Swak Tank on all the socials. Instagram and TikTok are the 2 big platforms. Over 5.5K followers on the TikTok. I believe we're right around that. Instagram, we are close to 500 followers. We started the season with around 220, 230, I believe. And we're growing. We're growing pretty fast over there. Please make sure you go and follow. Leave a comment, interact. Got some really great content being pushed and posted on all those platforms. And it's all me. It's a one-man show, one-man wrecking crew over here. From script to production to recording to editing to promoting to marketing. It's a one-man crew. We really appreciate your support and appreciate you all tuning in. Let's keep it going. The 4-2 Philadelphia Eagles traveling to take on the 3-2 Minnesota Vikings. Very, very interesting game here for a lot of reasons. Let's break it down. Unknown starting quarterback is obviously the biggest piece for Minnesota. As McCarthy, he was limited in practice Wednesday. That's the biggest key here, right? There's a lot of keys in this one, a lot of questions all around. Minnesota quarterback situation is number one, top of the page, front of the list, however you want to look at it. Will it be Carson Wentz in a potential revenge game? Remember Philly, Carson Wentz? Potential revenge game. Will it be J.J. McCarthy coming back from his ankle injury? He's been out several games now. We don't know. Personally, I would think McCarthy gets one more week of rest, and then it'll definitely be the starter next week. That's me. I would probably start Wentz here in this game if I'm Minnesota, but we'll just have to see. And as a team, no one has had a read on the Minnesota Vikings this season, especially because they've played several games abroad, and they've had a bye, and they've had the injuries with McCarthy and Jones. It's been a lot of pieces and a lot of different just movements for Minnesota. Given the London games, given the bye week, given the injuries, it's just been a lot, right? And Carson Wentz in there now with this revenge game. It's blurry, it's murky. Nobody knows fully what the Minnesota Vikings are yet. I definitely do not. I will put my hand up and tell you that. Eagles are -1.5 here. They are favored on the road at Minnesota. I don't know much in this game, given the outcome, given my prediction of the outcome. Here's what I do know. Brian Flores, off the bye week, will be showing the Eagles everything possible. We all know how Brian Flores dials up his defense. He loves to blitz. He loves to disguise. He loves to use pressure and make the quarterback be on his feet, move around the pocket, and make mistakes. That is Brian Flores' defense. They scavenge for you. They blitz you. He brings the heat. He brings the pressure, and he says, I'm going to bring it if you're going to beat us by picking up that pressure and doing whatever you got to do to beat us in that way. Do it. Bring it. But I'm going to bring the heat. That's what Brian Flores does. And you don't think off a bye week, and given how that Philadelphia offensive line and overall just offense has been playing under Kevin Patullo's first year, you don't think he's got a fantastic game plan written up? I would say you're crazy if you don't think so. Just putting that out there. I expect the Eagles offense to feel the pressure greatly, but the Vikings run defense has also been somewhat weak this season. It has not been great. Against the Steelers, Gainwell went off for almost 102 touchdowns on the ground against them alone. They have been a little vulnerable on the ground in the running game. So, who am I taking in this game? It's a tough call. Toughest call I've had so far. I'm going to take the Eagles on the road. Yes, they've lost 2 straight. Yes, the offense has looked ugly. But their backs are against the wall. And I think on the ground, they can get it done. Have they done that this season? No. Just because they haven't doesn't mean they can't. Last year, they did it every freaking game. At some point, the Eagles have to win a football game by utilizing Saquon Barkley in the rushing game. Here's my final take. I think the Eagles offense feels the pressure. I think Brian Flores is going to do a great job dialing up pressure and disguises off the bye against a very sloppy and chaotic Eagles offense. But question mark at quarterback for Minnesota. Eagles backs against the wall. I like Jalen Hurts and Barkley both on the ground to be successful. But through the air, I expect them to not be. Hurts will have a pick. But on the ground, running the football, give me Jalen Hurts, give me Saquon Barkley to somehow find a way on the ground to beat the Minnesota Vikings on the road. Give me the Eagles. We move on. WTF is this? We're relatively kid-friendly here, so I'm not going to say that acronym. I'm just going to say WTF. The 3-3 Carolina Panthers. You heard me. The 500 Carolina Panthers. Believe their first time being 500 since 2021. Traveling to take on the 0-6 the winless, the all-loss Jets team under Aaron Glenn. The Panthers in this game are -1.5, and they are also 0-3 on the road. 3-0 at home, 0-3 on the road, something to be wary of. I feel like with each game I predict, especially, this week and throughout the previous weeks, I have a pretty good read on what I personally think will happen. I'm not saying I'm always right. I'm wrong. So, I'm definitely wrong every week on something. That is a fact. But I would say most weeks I have a read on the games. This one, tough to read. I'm going to be honest with you. Tough to read. I mean, I'm not fully confident in sure in my pick here. But Panthers on both sides have looked more consistent than the Jets, but I will also lead you with this. The Panthers have looked inconsistent at times this year as well. You had that Falcons game, they win 30-0. Then you have the Patriots game, they get frickin' smoked. Then the first half against the Dolphins, they look like trash. Then the second half, they look like a top 10 team. A much better team. Then you put up a competitive and come from behind. Were they even behind that game? I think for a second. Behind win against Dallas in your own building? I'm looking for consistency, Carolina. Just in any aspect. You could lose and still be consistent. Show me some consistency, please. The Jets, they have nothing. What's going for them? Nothing. You're 0-6. They have nothing going for them. We touched on Monday about the Panthers' consistency issues. We're touching about it again. I'm going to take Carolina to win. But what I really want to see is them being more consistent. Just as a team. That's what I'd like to see. I mean, there's no angle for the Jets here whatsoever. Panthers' run defense lately has been pretty solid. Dowdle and Hubbard are going to be the 1-2 punch in this game. Dowdle, by the way, is top 5 in rushing yards. Take that for what you will. Is that not crazy? He started 2 games. He's top 5 in rushing yards. 4 running backs. Unbelievable. That's the 1-2 punch that's going to win them the game. I'm going to take the Panthers flat out. The Jets could win this. I mean, they could. They're only 1.5 point dogs for a reason. I'm going to just take Carolina, and we're just going to keep moving forward. The last game of the noon slate. The 2-4 Giants, the frisky, fun, interesting, dynamic, dare I say, New York Giants traveling to take on the 4-2 Denver Broncos. Denver is -7.5 points here. What are your initial thoughts on that line? Denver is -7.5 at home off the win against the Jets against the 2-4 New York Giants led by Jackson Dart, Cam Scotabo, who are coming off a big win against the Eagles. I tell you, Denver's -7.5. What are your initial thoughts? Just think about that as we go through this game. Because this game became a much more interesting one over the past week or so, given that big win from both teams. Well, a bigger win for the Giants than what the Broncos had, but big defensive win, I will say, for Denver. And that defense has been feasting. They feasted over the Eagles. They feasted over the Jets. And that Giants offense is better than both of those. I get that. But that defense has looked so good. And I knew going into the season it was going to be top 5. You got Sean Payton leading the team. Vance Joseph is the DC over there, former Broncos head coach, Surtain, Bonito. I don't got to keep talking about the Broncos defense. You know how strong, solid, and consistent overall it has been this year. With the Giants, their offense has been better than the Jets and better than the Eagles, the 2 teams the Broncos have played before this game. But what is the Giants' biggest problem? Themselves. The Giants' biggest problem is themselves. You saw it against the Saints 2 weeks ago. They had 5 straight turnovers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 drives in a row with a turnover. What happened? They lost. They gave the New Orleans Saints their first win of the season. So what is the biggest problem with the Giants? When they lose, it's because they can't get out of their own way. Okay. Their biggest problem? Themselves with turnovers. Okay. The Broncos, granted, their defense has been fantastic this year. Do not get me wrong. We just talked about that. They've only caused 4 turnovers all year. In 6 games, that Denver Broncos defense has only caused 4 turnovers. Interesting, right? Interesting. So which one's it going to be? Broncos creating turnovers, which they haven't done that often, or Giants beating themselves up with turnovers? One of them's got to give. And I like this game to stay close, but I will take Denver to win. I don't think that's not that big of a take, but I will take Denver to win. I'm not taking the points. No, I'm not touching the points. I'm going to take Denver to win, given home field advantage, and given that Sean Payton and Vance Joseph may find a way to expose that young rookie core of the New York Giants. Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbo, and they're at home. Sean Payton and Vance Joseph have been around the block too many times to allow a rookie quarterback and rookie running back to go in there with no Malik Neighbors and win a football game. So I'm going to take Denver's defense purely and their experience to win them this game. Give me Denver. The Giants can very much keep this close. Do not get me wrong. But if they start getting in the way of themselves, which we've seen, it's wraps. It's done. They got to win the turnover battle. 100% in this game. And by probably 2 or 3 turnovers. Give me Denver. We keep moving. Let's shift into the 3 o'clock slate. The 5-1 Indianapolis Colts traveling to take on the 4-2. I want to say San Diego every time, right? LA, it's in LA. LA Chargers. This is the best game of Sunday. It's the best game of Sunday. Every 3 o'clock, like first 3 o'clock game we touch on, it seems like the past 4 weeks has been the best game of Sunday. Chargers should have Quentin Johnston back in this game, and maybe Big Bad Joe Alt returns. Maybe. That's the big injury to note to monitor throughout the week. Johnston did practice, I believe, on Wednesday. Joe Alt didn't, but I've been hearing stirrings that he will play. We'll have to see. It's a big thing to note. For me, the Chargers, and it comes down to 2 things. Winning the turnover battle and second half adjustments. On Monday, we talked about the Chargers' lack of second half adjustments. Yes, they beat the Dolphins, but they had a over 10-point lead plus, almost blew it. Week before against the Commanders, went up 10, gave up 27 unanswered, and lost. Week before that, they lost to the Giants. Second half, couldn't do a damn thing. Harbaugh is having trouble adjusting in the second half, which is something you wouldn't really expect from him, given his time with the 49ers, given his national championship mindset at Michigan. Usually a coach of his stature, for the most part, doesn't struggle with second half adjustments. So far this year, I haven't heard anybody really talk about it. Yeah, they've been dinged up. I get it. Every team's dinged up. Their second half adjustments has kind of been the kryptonite. Let's go to the Colts here. The Colts don't turn the ball over at all. They have 4 turnovers all season in 6 games. And 3 of those 4 are from Daniel Jones interceptions. Danny Dimes has 3 picks. Outside of that, the rest of the team has 1 turnover, 1 fumble. And I believe that was the Adonai Mitchell fumble out of the end zone against the Rams. Yikes. But they've only turned the ball over 4 times this year. And I'm telling you that I think the Chargers need to win the turnover battle, which is possible here. But it's challenging, given that the Colts flat out do not turn the ball over. And they've made the necessary adjustments this season. Beat the Broncos on a blocked field goal. Dominated the Raiders. Last week, they were down to the Cardinals. What'd they do? Adjust, go down, win the game. They've made the adjustments, and they've protected the football. It seems like the 2 things the Chargers need to be doing, the Colts do at a much higher level. This is a solid football game. It's going to be a great game. It's the game, to me, of Sunday. Yet, I'm going to go with the Chargers at home. Purely, this is a gut feeling game for me. This is my one gut feeling game of the weekend, it feels like, that I think the Chargers just at home, after that scrappy comeback win against Miami, it was ugly, but it was a win nonetheless. I'm going to take the Chargers at home. It's more of a gut feeling than anything. Like I said, it's not a great matchup for them, given the Colts' ability to not turn the ball over, given the Colts' ability to adjust. It's not a great matchup for them. I will tell you that. Gut feeling, though. Gut feeling, I'm going to take the Chargers. Give me the Chargers here. That's all I got. But it's going to be a damn good football game. Very solid football game. That's a must-watch. Keep on moving it along. The 3-3 Washington Commanders traveling to take on the 2-3-1 Dallas Cowboys. Sweet God. This should be a shootout. Of course, it's the highest over-under of the weekend at 55.5 points. That means if the game was 28-27, the over doesn't hit. Yeah, I may have it in Swank's Banks. I may. Gotta wait till the end to see. This should be a freaking shootout. Commanders' defense has been very shaky this season at times. We all know about Dallas's defense. I don't have to keep beating the same dead horse, beating the same drum every weekend, every episode talking about how bad Dallas's defense is. Stephen A. this morning said, take the D out of Dallas. They're Alice, because there ain't no D. Pause. There ain't no D, though. It's inexistent. Both teams coming off tough losses. The Commanders obviously fell to the Bears. Cowboys fell to the Panthers, which was rough for them. I think the biggest matchup here in this game is the Cowboys' running game, especially Javonte Williams, going up against the Commanders' run defense that just got worked by DeAndre Swift. We touched on that at the start of the episode. You got a Cowboys offense in the running game with Javonte Williams that over the season has been very successful, but last week was terrible against the Panthers. Williams had less than 30 yards, I believe, in that game. They got demolished in the run game. That's that part. Commanders' defensive front let DeAndre Swift walk all over them. Running game and the passing game. Let him walk all over him. Which one's going to give here? Which one is it going to be? I'll tell you this. Another big important piece is that Scary Terry returns. Ooh. Halloween's around the corner, and Scary Terry is supposed to play this week. It's not set in stone, but he's supposed to play this week. He's supposed to get back, and that is a game changer here. I'm taking the Commanders in a shootout. My reasoning for that: which defense do you trust more? If I tell you this game's a shootout, given everything we've seen and given the total points in this game, if I tell you it's a shootout, who do you trust more in the shootout? Because I'll tell you what, the Dallas Cowboys, the Cowboys just had a freaking shootout against the damn Panthers and lost. Who do you trust more in a shootout between Dallas and the Commanders? Defensively, the Commanders. So that's where I'm going to lean. I'm going to take the Commanders on the road to get a win. Give me Daniels to bounce back here. Keeping it moving. Last game of the 3 o'clock slate of Sunday. The 3-1-1 Green Bay Packers traveling to take on the 2-4, have now lost 4 straight Arizona Cardinals. And this game will have no talk about it, given the other 3 o'clock games. But could it be sneaky good? I'm asking you. I'm not saying that. I'm asking you, could this game between the Packers and the Cardinals be a sneaky good one? Nah. Not to me. Nah. I'm taking Green Bay here pretty handily. And I'll tell you what. The Packers have been out of the high ranks. They've been out of the talks since their tie to the Cowboys, because that happened and everybody, kind of put up the red flag. Oh, is there a big question mark now about this Packers defense? Are they a complete team? Can they do it? They lose to the Browns in stunning fashion. They go and give up 40 to Dallas in a tie. Then they go into the bye week. Then after the bye week, they come out and they beat the Bengals, who have been super lackluster, inconsistent, and just overall trash. There has not been talk about Green Bay since that Dallas game. It's been a while. This would be 3 weeks. That was 3 weeks ago, come Sunday. And their defense, besides that Dallas game, has been damn good. They were great against Cleveland. They were very good against the Commanders. They were fantastic against the Lions. They were great last week against the Bengals. They had one week where that defense got shown up and blown up. I get that. But since that game, nobody's talked about Green Bay. Not the media, because why would they? Right? The bye week, the Bengals. There's no talking points there, really, overall. The Green Bay Packers are a top 5 team. So I'm here to bring that resurgence back. I'm here to put them back on the, quote, map. They never left the map. Just people have slightly not been talking about them as much, given their recent few weeks. I like Green Bay here big. And with the Cardinals, they can't fully put it together. They're also injured. Marv is in concussion protocol. Kyler Murray still dealing with a foot injury. He might not go. If there's no Kyler and there's no Marv, this shit's going to be ugly. This will be, I think even if they both play somehow, it's still ugly. Green Bay has not been talked about. And people are they're not sleeping on them, but they're not talking about them right now. They're not. So to me, this could be very ugly, in all honesty. Give me the pack. Just smother them in every which way they can. Defensive front with Micah. Josh Jacobs in the running and receiving game. Tucker Kraft, Matthew Golden, Jordan Love. I like the Packers here pretty solidly in an all-around win for them. Give me Green Bay to get it done. All right, we just have 3 games left now. We move into Sunday Night Football. The 3-2 Atlanta Falcons coming off that big win against the Bills. Going up against the 4-2 San Francisco 49ers. Really solid Sunday Night Football game here. 49ers are -2.5 at home. And the big news, there's several cases here for the Niners. Given that they're always injured, Brock Purdy could be back this week. That turf toe is supposedly close to being healed. He could be back. George Kittle also could be back, activated from the IR. That's one we're just going to have to wait and see. Let's keep it moving, though. Those are huge for them. Pearsall did not practice Wednesday. It's a big loss. Juwan Jennings announced he's been playing through broken ribs. The injury fest continues for the 49ers. That is not an unknown. Fred Warner out for season. Nick Bosa still out for the season over there. Is it Nick? I always forget which, but is it Joey or Nick? It's Nick. He's out for a season. That defense continues to take hits as well as that offense, given injuries. We'll see if Purdy returns. We'll see if Kittle returns. I think they're both trending too. We'll see. That would be huge. Kittle especially, since Pearsall was still out Wednesday. The question here, which Falcons team do we get? Do we get the team that got blown out by the Panthers? Do we get the team that just handled the Bills? Which one is it? Which Falcons team do we get here? I ask you. If Michael Penix can play clean, the Falcons are hard to beat. We touched on that earlier in this episode. If he just doesn't turn the ball over, the Falcons are a strong team. They're talented. They're rebuilt on defense. AJ Terrell is back healthy. Pierce on the edge has been playing pretty well as a rookie. You obviously got Bijan lighting up the freaking sky out there. If Penix can just be a game manager and put the ball in his best player's hands without giving it to the other team, Atlanta is dangerous. They're hard to beat. Guess what, though? You ready for this? This is some Swak Tank findings here. We do our own research. Guess what? Granted, we were just talking about Penix having to take care of the ball. The 49ers don't have an interception on defense all season. In 6 games played, a very solid 49ers defense, all things considered. Now with 2 huge injuries on it, which is not good, but that defense doesn't have an interception. Only one other team this season doesn't have an interception. You want to guess who it is? If you guess the New York Jets, ding, 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 you are correct. Any trash stat you can think of, just guess the Jets. It's probably right. Is that not interesting? Penix's problem when they lose has been turnovers. The Niners, no picks on the year. Yet. Come on, I wasn't just going to leave it at that. Yet. They are number 1 in fumble recoveries this season with 5, I believe. I believe it's 5. So they don't have any picks, yet they're number 1 in fumbles recovered. Penix, put the sticky glue on the hands, little bro. Wear a glove if you got to. I don't know what you got to do. Hold on to the football this game. Because apparently you're not going to be throwing picks. But if you're turning it over, it's going to be them slapping that ball out of your hand. Hold on to the rock, little bro. You got it. Pull a Bijan, tuck that thing in the breadbasket. Don't let that number 1 forced fumble defense in the NFL, recovery-wise, take it from you. Interesting to note there. In the 49ers' 2 losses this season, they had 6 turnovers. And what did their opponents have? 0. They lost to the Jags, didn't win the turnover battle whatsoever. And in their other loss, I'm blanking at the top of my head on their other loss. They just lost to the Bucs. Against the Bucs and against the Jags, they had 6 turnovers. Their opponents, the Bucs and Jags, had 0. So in those 2 losses, they have lost the turnover battle, which has been such a big deal. Whoever wins the turnover battle in this game wins this game. That's what all of these stats I just said have been working towards. So we're going to go with Atlanta. Atlanta here on the road to get the upset. It's one of my biggest upsets of the weekend. I picked Jacksonville earlier to get it done. I'm picking the Falcons here to get it done on Sunday Night Football and keep it rolling. The 49ers can absolutely win this game. Whoever wins the turnover battle wins this game. Do I feel more confident in the Niners creating turnovers? I do. Given the way Atlanta just played, I loved what I saw. Given the injuries the 49ers have, and given that Warner and Bosa are now both out for season, sadly, hope they can get better, but sadly, I'm going to take Atlanta to get it done. Penix, hold on to the frickin' ball. We move forward. 2 games left. The Monday Night Football doubleheader. Can they stop doing the Monday Night Football doubleheader? Is anybody else tired of it? I want one game on Sunday night. I want one game on Monday night. What is so difficult about this? Guys, my Texans kick off at 10 p.m. Eastern time. That is a freaking crime. That's the latest the game started this season by at least an hour. What are we doing? If you're going to make the Texans play a Monday Night Football in Seattle on the West Coast, why do you have them being the later game? This thing kicks at 9 Central time. I will be sitting right on that couch you see behind me up until midnight. I'm not necessarily trying to complain. I'm not that much of an unk. I'll be up watching the game. But what the hell? Was that not thought about? That's a ridiculous time for a football game to be played. That being said, overall, stop the double Monday Night Football headers. I hate it. Nobody likes it. We want one game to focus on. One game to bet on Monday night. Get rid of it. We relax for a second. The 5-1 Buccaneers traveling to take on the 4-2 Detroit Lions. Lions are minus 5.5 here. I want to really deep dive into this game, but it's hard to, given the injuries for the Buccaneers. That's the biggest thing here, obviously, right? And that's not breaking news. And that's, I think, what will sadly hold them back here. Egbuka, not going to play. Godwin, already ruled out. Bucky Irving, listed as doubtful. Mike Evans, questionable. He could play. How much is he going to play? I don't know if he even does play. But, my God, if the Bucs want to win this football game, Mike Evans has got to go for 203 touchdowns as well. So, I'm just going to flat out tell you, I got the Lions here, and it's mainly due to the injuries for the Bucs. Yes, they can still keep this game competitive. I am in no way ever counting Baker Mayfield out. It could be freaking middle schoolers out there playing with them, and Baker Mayfield could still find a way to not only cover but win this game. So I'm not saying the Bucs are out of it. No way. Given their injuries, given this spot, it makes it very challenging. So Baker's going to keep these boys in it. I simply have to go with the Lions here after their uncharacteristic play last week. They're dinged up in the secondary. DJ Reed is not back. Terrion Arnold is still out, I believe. And Branch is suspended this game. They're weak in the secondary. Can Baker exploit that? Yes, he can. Yet, is it with Egbuka? No. Is it with Godwin? No. Is it with Evans? Maybe, but to what degree, what extent? That is the question. So I expect for the Lions on the other side of the ball, I expect a lot of dump downs to Gibbs, getting more involved in the passing game compared to last week, and utilizing Laporta here in the seam and in some shorter passes, some dump downs. That's what I like for the Lions offensively, given that this Buccaneers run D has been very, very solid and strong this season. So I don't like the Lions on the ground. I like the Lions through the air. Methodical, slow, paced drives that drain the clock. You feed Laporta, you feed Gibbs, and maybe you take a shot or two to Williams. Give me some dump downs. Give me some seam routes. 10-yard outs to Laporta. I think the Lions just meticulously take their time and pick apart. Basically, don't give Baker Mayfield enough time to do what he does. And the Lions get the win. I've got the Lions win this game at home. Last game of the slate. My Houston Texans off the bye, 2-3, traveling to take on the 4-2, seemingly hot and explosive Seattle Seahawks. Oh, man. I just went off on this game for kicking at 10 p.m. Eastern. Ridiculous. Unacceptable, honestly. If you're going to put the game, a West Coast game on Monday Night Football, and it's a double frickin' header, you got to put it in the early slate. Move it. Why is Detroit kicking off before us? That makes no sense. 0 sense. Anyways, Texans coming off the bye, 2 straight wins, and they're -3.5. And that is very validly so. Here's the deal. The Texans defense has been elite this season. They've given up, I believe it's 61 points in 5 games played. It's something right around there. And they've been elite. Yet the Seahawks defense, outside of that Bucs loss, very uncharacteristic Bucs loss, outside of that loss, has also been pretty elite. It's been pretty elite. Both rush defenses have been very, very good. And primetime, late game, makes this game even more low scoring. So I project a very low scoring game here. Given the Texans offense, given that their defense is strong, given that Seattle's defense is strong, given that both rushing defenses are good, this game will be ugly. This game should be ugly. But I'm going to go with the upset. And there's a very high chance I regret this. I'm going to go with the upset here. Give me Houston. Give me the Texans to go into Seattle late at night in a raucous environment and get it done. Gut feel. Off the bye. Rested up. 2 weeks, DeMeco Ryans has had to prep against Sam Darnold. So I like Darnold here to be a little flustered. I like Darnold here to throw a pick or 2. DeMeco Ryans' defense has had 2 weeks to prep for Sam Darnold. I think that will be a bigger impact than people may give credit for. So other keys in this game. JSN against Derek Stingley. That is a top 5 versus top 5 matchup. Corner versus wide receiver is a big key here. Maybe the biggest one, though. The Texans' offensive line. What are we going to see from them? I am worried for that Texans' offensive line. Seahawks have the 2nd most sacks in the NFL. And we all know the Texans' offensive line has been chaotic in their first 5 games. Throughout the first 3 weeks, especially when they went 0-3, were terrible. Offensive line and their 2 wins looked pretty solid overall, honestly. Looked like a top 12 unit. But those first 3 games, yikes, looked like a dead last unit. That's the biggest piece, I think. 2nd in sacks for the Seahawks defense, Texans O-line. One's got to give. All that being said, I'm taking Houston in a grimy, sloppy win, low-scoring, 13-10 maybe win. Give me the Texans off the bye on the road. And that is going to wrap up our Week 7 picks and predictions. Let me know on socials or on Spotify or on YouTube. Comment which ones I got wrong, which ones you think I may have gotten right. If you want to, go ahead. Want to say, hey, you know what, great take, and maybe show some support. That'd be fantastic. Always appreciate that. But go leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think of those. Or go comment some teams you like. Go comment some locks, whatever you want to do. I appreciate you being here as always. And we will now end the show with Swank's Banks. Swank's Banks season record has moved to 20-16. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. We went 5-1 in week 6. Man, the Commanders was the last leg. Commanders money line was the last leg, and they had it until the Daniels fumble. I almost swept, almost brought out the brooms last week, and yet I didn't. I went 5-1 last week. We moved to 20-16 on the season. We love that. We're above 500, people. We're back. But we're going to keep it rolling. A lot of season left ahead. Hard slate this week to bet on. Last week, I really liked my feel. This week, I still like my feel, but it is tougher betting-wise this week. Because I don't want to pick the big favorites. I'm not going to take Chiefs money line. I'm not here to do that, people. I'm here to win bets, but I'm also here to profit off those bets. Not take Chiefs money line up. Minus 700. Whatever it is. Let's get into it. My 6 picks. We'll start 1. Jags money line. Touched on it earlier. I like them on the road to bounce back, get a win in their, quote, home stadium in London. Give me the Jags. Jags money line number 1. Number 2, and these are not ranked 1 through 6 in terms of confidence. I will tell you that. Just my 6 favorite bets, except my Swank Tank, which is coming up here in 1 sec. That is my favorite bet of the week, every week. Number 2, I'm going to take Bears money line. This is more of a safer play. They're at home against the Saints. They're only minus 4.5. And I just think, like we mentioned and talked about earlier, for all of these, but Caleb Williams, if he plays clean, I really don't see a way the Bears lose this game. Bears money line is my second one. Third, this is my Swank Tank. My favorite bet of the weekend of the NFL, Week 7 slate, is Browns minus 2.5. I think they at least win this game by 3. I really think they at least win this game by 7. And they're playing a tumultuous, lackluster, chaotic Dolphins team that has no true identity, is turning on each other in the locker room, is turning on each other in the press conferences. Everybody wants to see it get blown up. I want to see their downfall. I'm tired of seeing them in the media. I just want them to get punched in the face. And ironically, I think Cleveland can do that here, especially on the ground. Dolphins have given up the most rushing yards in the NFL this year. Quinshon Judkins has been a force to be reckoned with for a majority of this season so far. Judkins, lock him in DFS, lock in -2.5 Browns. That's my Swak Tank, my third bet of the weekend. Number 4, Eagles money line. Plain and simple, on the road in a tough game against Minnesota. I'm going to take the Eagles to get it done on the ground is the key there. Remember that. Number 5, Packers -6.5. Haven't heard much from Green Bay in the past 2-3 weeks. You're going to hear from them. Packers -6.5. Last one. Dallas Cowboys, Washington Commanders. What do I have here? I said it earlier. I'm going with the over. It's a large number. It's a huge number. 55.5. This could have been 60. I think I would still take the over. Don't overthink it. It's a shootout. 55.5 is tough. Don't get me wrong. This game will be high scoring. If it's not, a lot of people are probably losing money in fantasy. I'm taking the Commanders and Cowboys over 55.5. That is my 6th bet with my Swank Tank. Reminder, Browns -2.5. That is my favorite bet. We're only 2-4 on my Swanks Tanks, but we're 20-16 on the season. And that is my Swanks Banks of Week 7. And that is going to do it for us here at the Swank Tank. Appreciate you tuning in to episode 16. Really, really hope you enjoyed this one. These ones are always my favorite to do. Predictions, analysis, and bets. They're always the best. Giving you key pieces to each game while I'm picking what winner. Really appreciate you listening. If you made it all the way through, please go and follow on all the socials at the Swank Tank. I cannot emphasize that enough. We are really starting to grow. Appreciating all the support and the love. Go leave a comment, repost, retweet, subscribe, follow, whatever you got to do. Please go do it. It doesn't cost you anything, and I would really appreciate it. Really trying to get the show continuing off the ground, and I'm starting to feel that a bit. So thank you very much. Have a great Week 7. Win some bets, win your fantasy matchups, win some big old money in DFS. Whatever you like to do with your NFL and your betting money, go do it, go win it. Enjoy your Week 7. Enjoy your weekend. We will see you next week.